Oh, when my brother and I, received the call that we were going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I mean, it's one of those things you don't set out to do, as a kid, that you want to be in the Hall of Fames and have that type of career. Those are just dreams. You're too busy trying to get better. You're too busy running and sprinting and lifting and playing and traveling the miles. But when it comes at the end of, of a long career, junior career, a collegiate career, and a pro career, it's overwhelming.
Being inducted with my brother, it's a family sport, and I think about my brother, I think about my hero, I think about my best friend, and I also think about my whole family. Mom, Dad, Rachel, Rebecca. We were traveling state by state, tournament by tournament, but winning the French and having the career with a brother, like Luke in particular, who is the greatest role model a human being could have, to do this with him is a dream come true.
It truly is, because the rankings that you had to climb and the people that you had to get through, and you look at the people that are in the Hall of Fame now, from the Todd Martins, the Victor Amayas, the legendary players that have succeeded through this section, you've got to be a baller. And to me, it's an unbelievable honor, not just for Murphy and I look at it as a family honor, because my sisters played the Grand Slam level, and my parents just insisted that this was going to be a sport that we all played. And you talk about a sport for a lifetime, but it's a sport for a family, and it was for us. Well, we have the greatest celebration in Grand Slam history. A lot of people, like Bjorn Borg, would go to his knees. Pat Cash goes up into the crowd, and Roger Federer lays on the ground, or Rafa rolls around in the clay. And I said, well, if we win, we're really into big time wrestling. I know it's a shocker to everybody, but I said, I'll body slam Murphy on the court. It will be the greatest celebration of all time.
2 points before winning the French, I'm serving for it. I don't think I've lost my serve in 2 weeks, and I say to my brother, whatever you do, don't hurt me. That flashed in my head that he was going to go Hulk Hogan on me and pin me to the ground of the red clay and make my outfit all dirty. And he says, what are you talking about, man? We haven't won anything yet. And then I proceed to double fault twice, get really tight, and I'm facing break point down. I hit the best shot of my life, and then we eventually win. Arms go up, we go to hug each other, and he embraces me and clips me with his elbow, cracks my jaw.
I broke his jaw at the French Open. So as we're walking up to the net, he can't feel his face, it's all numb. I think he may have had a concussion, because he was all over the place, but he could use a lot of colorful language pointed at me. And if you see any doubles championship in the history of tennis, you'll see there's one guy holding one side of the trophy and the partner holding the other side of the trophy, and it's a very happy moment. But you won't find a picture where it's Murphy holding the trophy up like he just won it all by himself, and I got to touch the trophy with 3 fingers. I'm reaching up, I can barely touch the trophy. And that was my French Open experience.
I think tennis will always be part of my life, because it's a family sport. I think beyond the tennis with my family, my immediate family, my son Billy and I played the father-son nationals a couple times, and that was as cool as winning the French Open. To be able to be with a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old son and to share the game with him. And hopefully I'll play until my last shot, my last breath.
Madam President, it is my pleasure to present on behalf of the Hall of Fame Committee, Murphy Jensen for enshrinement into the Hall of Fame.
Murphy Jensen.
Yes, my dear. They teach you that at Wimbledon to curtsy.
Man, yeah, I've never had anyone do that to me.
First time for
as president of the USTA Midwest section and by the power vested unto me, it is my pleasure to induct you to the Midwest Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Wow. My doubles partner, Luke Jensen, everybody. I carried him longer than you want to know. I was told I got 5 minutes to talk about 44 years of carrying my big brother. It's not going to happen. No. It's an honor and a privilege to stand here in front of every single face representing the Midwest, USTA Midwest Tennis Section. You know, when I look in the eyes of Wally Craig, Rick Furman, there's a story behind all these individuals that I know. Their families. Luke talks about the relationships. Rick Furman was the first man to endorse me into a national junior tournament at 11 years old, and I was on the cusp. I think I was an alternate. And through the grace of God and Rick's signature, I got to go to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Thank you, Rick. Thank you for your service. And first off, I want to congratulate the other inductees, Ron Brooks and Joe, and my brother Luke. Come on. And it's really surreal to think about the career and the life tennis has given Luke and I. For me, it's given me a life beyond my wildest dreams, without question. And people ask a couple things. What motivated you, as a tennis player? And a lot of times, I think the biggest thing that motivated me was mom and dad. Mom and dad were our first coach, and they'll be our last coach. Big time. Their thing with us was, like Luke talks about opportunity, is that one day, you kids, you'll not look back and say, if you'd only given us an opportunity, we could have done something with our lives. And those drives down 31 and to the Bear and Petoskey and this and that, truth is, they gave us the greatest gift in the world. They allowed us to dream big. And Rick and Wally and a lot of you guys and Ron, you saw the hundreds of sweaters my mother knitted along the way. And earlier today, I was in Aurora, Illinois. And I wasn't always the best behaved junior player, right, Ron? But I grew in this game. This game helped me grow up a lot. I was in Aurora where I remembered playing a match with Malavai, Washington. And I was standing on this court, 40 years later, speaking at a coaches conference this morning. And I was supposed to tell them insight on how to be great coaches. Oh, Murphy Jensen, you're this Washington Kastles coach. And all I'm thinking about is how I played Mal Washington and how I behaved. And it wasn't my best moment. I was pretty much a jerk on that court that day. And my mom did it right. I got off that court. We drove down the road. You remember the cornfield, Rick? And it's cold. She had me get out and walk. Think about how I am going to act on a tennis court. I appreciate you doing that today, Mom. And yeah, that wasn't going to happen. And then Rick coached a fella by the name of Todd Martin. And he coached a few other guys, and my first big tournament was the Michigan State Closed. And he may or may not remember this, but Todd Martin sure does. And his mother really does. I'm playing this kid, and he's a 10 and under superstar, and he could hit the greatest moon ball you've ever seen. Right next to the tower where David Markin would sit and all the brass. And it was they had the 10 and under state championships the week after Kalamazoo, and I remember sleeping at night with that program. My dream was to one day play at Kalamazoo, but I got to play there the week after. And I'm playing this kid. He was the greatest moonballer in the history of tennis. His name was Damon Valentino. And this guy didn't miss. And he had a posse from East Lansing, Michigan that was cheering on little Damon. And I'm in a 7-hour battle. I'm 8. And this woman in the third set tiebreaker said, "Come on, Damon, you can beat this guy. Come on, Damon, you can do it. Come on, Damon." And after a while, I just said, "Hey, lady, I'm 8. Well, why don't you drop dead?" I had no idea who this woman was until years later, and it was Todd Martin's mother. So I had a lot of growing up to do, and I'm still growing. And I'm so grateful for this game, and you know, my son Billy, and I look at Rebecca swimming the fish, and her daughter Juliana and Jensen, and I'm so grateful. You know, I'll think about the coaches. Victor Amaya coached us. Don Dickinson coached us. Brian Marcus coached us. Everybody that beat me coached me. Everybody I beat coached me. Randy Fairchild strung my rackets for free for 20 years. And then when I had a few pesos, I say, "Hey, Randy, you know, I'd like to give you some money for all the string jobs you did for me for nothing when I couldn't afford stringing." And he said, "You winning and your success is repayment. Your effort and how you behave is, you owe me nothing." And I love Randy. I slept on his couch for years and played at USC. So many people did this, you know, and I'm out there doing that Kastles thing, and, you know, Mark Ein, the thousands of mentors and teachers for Luke and I both. And when I say I've had a life beyond my wildest dreams, nobody owes me a thing. And lastly, you know, there's 5 minutes and I want everyone to go home. The second question people ask me is what motivated me, or what was your greatest moment? I played this game for one reason: to be with my brother. End of story. I love tennis, but I love my brother more. And he was an example of how to behave properly. There's a lot of adults in this room that tried their best to get me to behave properly, and I'm still working on it. It's my job as a young adult, hopefully I'm probably an old adult, but, you know, to take everything, guys like Rick and all the men and women in here that came before me, and represent the Midwest Tennis Association to the best of my ability and be of service in everything I do. And the secret sauce, what I learned a little bit later, it's not what I get out of tennis, it's what I give to tennis that makes all the difference. I didn't start winning until I started giving. So from my heart to yours, I know I'm much better than Luke up here. It's not a competition, is it? And, no, but I played for my bro, and my bro showed me how to be number one on and off the court, and he'll always be my best friend. I love you, Luke, and thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, Murphy, we're going to stay for another part.
Thank you.
You guys stay together.